Last time on Tales of Arise. Whoa! It changed our clothes.
The red woman!
She's back!
What?
Oh! So there's a bunch of them, I knew it! I mean, I called that. Oh, fuck!
Who said you could touch that?
Oh, great, we woke him up.
My word is law! I am...
Are you two okay?
Maybe he's not gonna come back.
What?
Oh, shit! Oh! Where the fuck are we? Oh my god! What in the fuck is that? It's a flower? What the fuck is going on? Greetings, my beautiful viewers! I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to Tales of Arise! So, last time, we found out some of the truth, in that, whatever this spirit channeling ceremony was, it was gonna destroy the world, so Naori stopped it, and this is what caused her to bear the thorns inside her, which I think the thorns are probably sentient astral energy, like sentient dark astral energy that wants to quote-unquote destroy the world, because that's just what it wants, and I'm not 100% sure. Either way, me and Best Girl got these new badass looking outfits, and then when we were gonna like, yeah, let's go to Renna, then we discovered Renna isn't a planet. It's literally like an apple core. Like, there's nothing there. And then they started sucking up Dahna's astral energy again, and it made a flower, and I don't know why. And then a floating structure in space similar to Lennigus, but not Lennigus, sucked up our spaceship, because our spaceship was out of power and we were going to die. So, now we're here. Now everyone's caught up. I don't know what's going on anymore!
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Renna from the surface of Dahna, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours.
Yeah!
Still though, I never would have imagined Renna actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
And everyone probably, like, I'm guessing that no one noticed that, Renna doesn't rotate. Maybe that's why Dahna thought of it as some celestial place. I'm not certain.
I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Renna and Dahna. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
I mean, technically...
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
That's
Someone
a question.
formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
Yeah.
That beam of light joining Dahna and Renna. It was the Renan side that it first came from, right?
That's what it looked like. And then the Dahnan side responded.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lennigus?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Renna after all. What are they after? Is it really worth going through all this trouble just to steal Dahna's energy?
Try to stay calm. With so many factors we don't understand, dwelling on it won't get us anywhere. What is it?
No, it's just... Zephyr once told me the same thing. So much for me making progress, huh?
You made it this far, didn't you? You notice something, you change it. That's all anyone can do.
Yeah.
But you can't stand still in the meantime.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love how much closer they're getting. Floor isn't accessible. Central level. Okay, we can go to the central level then. Okay. Apparently I chose the right floor. Hooray. Oh, that's sealed off. Everywhere is sealed off. Well, this seems eerily similar.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that?
I don't know. It's like it looks like the Red Woman except purple.
It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It doesn't look like it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
He's voiced by Zojija. I almost said Zojija. Zojija, which is Joe Zija. The same guy who voices Volron.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Oh.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
Okay.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do
Oh.
you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What
did
did
you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way.
I hope not.
Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
I don't know.
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helghan Quill.
Helghan Quill.
The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helghan Quill?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Renna's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan.
Okay.
As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Renna and Dahna from this position.
A question. What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Renna, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
Oh.
A voice? Just like Dahna.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Renna?
It would make sense.
The true ruler of Renna. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dahna? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dahna back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dahna has a will of its own, I don't see why Renna wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's quite possible that what Renna wants, like the will of Renna's planet. It wants to be a full planet again and is trying to consume Dahna to make it happen. But a byproduct of that may have been the thorns. So I'm not sure.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dahna has a will like Renna, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dahna this whole time, just like these things.
Dahna's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what Helghan 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dahna's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dahna is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Renna's great spirit.
Oh, good to know.
Renna's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dahna's is shared among all its constituents.
Oh!
So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegis are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy.
Oh, joy!
And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Renna in its current state.
Wait, so the planet wanted to eat itself?
As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dahna.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dahna?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helghan Quill devised the crown contest.
Oh!
Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dahna's astral energy would have been seized.
Oh.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegis was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renna's Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dahna.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dahna.
This is all happening because of me.
Not exactly.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Helghan 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
I'm down for that!
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
Yes!
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
Oh, I agree.
What makes you say that?
It's trying to eat our planet! How have you not followed along so far? They've spelled it out very clearly!
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan.
Oh, joy.
As we speak, Dahna's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Renna. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helghan Quill, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Okay.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Oh.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helghan Quill who inhabits Dake Faisal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
Yeah. Wait, he said others, but he's the only Helghan Quill here? Find the others.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
Yes, but if it saves our planet, then maybe it's worth it!
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it.
God damn.
How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dahna, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Renna wants to see Dahna completely destroyed.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dahna.
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helghan Quill, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrek 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helghan Quill, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter. Let's find out.
Indeed. Upper level? Is the upper level where I was? No. Because that's a takeoff spot. Okay, so let's see. Oh! That's a viewing deck! Oh, shit. Oh, we are a long ways away from our planet. Oh, boy. That is not good. So I'm guessing the lower level is where we need to go, because that was where... that's what was off limits to us earlier. People! Hello, people!
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can.
Okay.
But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
Subjects? What are you talking about?
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrek 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dahna and Renna, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Yeah.
Have you guys lived up here in Dake Faisal with Hevrek 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrek 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helghan Quill have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans.
Oh!
As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
That's how the Red Women hid. That makes sense.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helghan Quill themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helghan Quill, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrek 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Yeah, that
Don't
makes
you want to
sense.
go back home to Renna or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
What is this plan? You did not elaborate on the plan? I would like to know what the plan is!
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Hey, it's Taliesin Jaffe! Oh, he was the voice of Eisen from Tales of Berseria. Not to mention he's on Critical Role. You know, we all know him to be a true, eldritch being that's been around for centuries. So, it's always fun when he graces us with his presence in video games.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helghan Quill.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Renna, obviously.
From Renna? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Oh! I kind of thought that might be the case. I kind of thought maybe the planet itself, no one actually came from there. They actually all came from Dahna and were just, modified for some reason.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
They did not.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Dahnans by the Helghan Quill.
So they're all actually the same race! Holy shit! That makes sense, though!
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Renna.
There aren't. But there are Helghan Quill. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Renna.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helghan Quill are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Dahnans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Dahnans that the Helghan Quill kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astro arts on Dahna now.
Yeah.
Helghan Quill technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which
Oh,
they
God.
insert into their bodies and...
Enough. You needn't tell us anymore.
Literally, we're like, they're using nanomachines? Oh my fucking god!
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helghan Quill are the real Rennans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal.
You've known the truth for centuries! Of course you don't think it's a big deal!
They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
So they're the real villains. Interesting.
Thanks for filling us in.
Okay, so, like, interesting that the main villain isn't a person, it's literally an evil planet that's trying to eat other planets. Crazy.
Does he really expect us to believe that Rennans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
Well, I mean, we got one more guy to talk to, so I don't think that's the case.
Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
No!
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dahna's astral energy and send it to Renna.
Oh, is that what it was?
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient.
Oh. Right, because when astral energy, like, you know, forms too much in one place, then it becomes sentient. Fuck, I forgot about that.
Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dahna's energy so it would be compatible with Renna.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner. However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Rennans in Helghan Quill that day.
Oh, wow.
For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Rennis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dahna and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contest began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps.
Oh, I see.
A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Renna?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dahna. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Renna's planetary structure.
Hevrecht 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
That's the point.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
There's still a bad guy, we still have walls to break down, and we have to save the world. I mean that's basically all I need to know.
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helghan Quill, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Renna's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helghan Quill. Then the Helghan Quill created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Dahnans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Dahnans all along.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dahna on the line, but Renna too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds too.
Oh.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Oh, it's like our first date!
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot. Everything we thought we knew, it was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, that the Helghan Quill made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helghan Quill could be behind the fruits of Helghan too.
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, there are more people here now. The spirit channeling plan will soon finally conclude as the Overseer reaches the end of its lifespan. After going into hibernation countless times to date, it's been a long time coming to say the least. What are we going to do once this project is over and there's nothing left for us to research? We'll always keep observing as long as there are things out there worth watching. Once our time is up, whenever it is, we'll return to nothing. It's a fitting fate for this station and its inhabitants after being cast into the cosmos. I wouldn't say so. I'd want you guys to live, too. You guys should get to live, just like everyone else. Oh. Healing! You found me collapsed again and helped me back up? Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks to you, I can continue my research. You're welcome? Was a little weird, but okay.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Dahnans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helghan Quill and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Dahnan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Dahnans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Dahnans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on.
That's the
In
point.
the worst case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dahnan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Dahnans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dahna anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Dahnans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in.
Yeah.
But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Dahnan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dahna's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Renna's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dahna's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
Oh boy. Ah. What up, Law?
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Yeah. Law is not a dumb person. What I like is that he's obviously a very smart individual, but this stuff is a lot to take in, and he is, while he's not dumb, he's a simple person. There's nothing wrong with being a simple person. He's like, my job is to fight and protect people. That's what I'm good at. That's what I want to do. I don't know how to do that in this situation. And I like that he, is figuring this out.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Rennans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Rennans out there.
When you say the other Rennans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dahna, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dahna, our problems will still remain, putting aside the untold state that Renna may be in. If we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dahna, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Dahnans are hardly likely to embrace Rennans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us, and the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Rennans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
What is it?
What is it?
Oh,
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Rennans can live on Dahna peaceably, as the one and only Blazing Sword. I suspect the Dahnans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Rennans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Rennans to re-enter Dahnan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh, that was great.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Rennans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Renna and Dahna. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helghan Quill's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Dahnan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering, she said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening.
Oh, yeah.
If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain, but if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
I want you to live too.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dahna's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Renna, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
I mean, it would make sense.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Renna. And if Renna's great spirit is what's behind Dahna's pending destruction, then...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Renna like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
Yeah. I mean, like, I kind of called it, you know. I mean, like, not that it was the Great Spirit, but I mean, like, that it was, like, you know, like a part of her, and it was trying to get out.
While the main body resides in Renna.
Shion, if these thorns really are a part of Renna's Great Spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Renna is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorn's connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the great astral spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
Alrighty.
Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
Lenegis talk.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Rennis Alma stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Renna we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
All right, time to give Hervect?
Do you have your answer for me?
I do.
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Rennis Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Rennis Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This
I am willing to do it, so shut the fuck up, robot man!
plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
I don't care!
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Renna's great astral spirit already resides within her.
We know that.
300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the Great Astral Spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renna's Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renna's Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the Great Astral Spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renna's Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What
We're not asking for your permission.
does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dahna's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dahna from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
Yeah, you tell it, Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
Yeah, you better!
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renna's Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renna's Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renna's Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dahna's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Renna, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
Middle of enemy territory, oh joy.
So right in the middle of that giant flower then.
I have one more question. You've said that Renna's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Renna once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Renna is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Havrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. fix our starship. We're going to Renna.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Alright, you can do that.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrick 35 to talk like a normal person?
Yes.
I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Renna right away. Is the Rennis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrick 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
Yep. It'll take some time to completely repair your starship. I suggest you all get some rest in the interim. Yeah, let's rest. Why not? Don't have anything else to do.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Dahnans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Oh.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Dahnans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Dahnans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more. That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
Oh.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Oh.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Oh.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara.
Oh.
I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
Oh!
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before.
Oh.
But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Oh! That's so nice. I like that.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Yes! Oh my God, Lord, do it! For the love of God, you better do it.
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle.
Yeah, probably.
So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dahna's will had been controlling us and all that.
Oh.
I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something.
Nani?
Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dahna's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dahna's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Renna's inside you and everyone else.
Oh!
What?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dahna's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dahna's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dahna's will?
What?
Well, like you said, Unless Dahna's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dahna's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hevric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dahna's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Oh! Oh! Oh no!
Never mind.
Oh!
Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You like her, just say it! Oh, they're adorable!
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I am resting.
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dahna? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renna's Alma, there's something I want you to do.
No, don't you do this!
Like Hevric 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Renna and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renna's Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
No!
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renna's Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
No!
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Rennans and Dahnans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got.
Doesn't sound like it!
But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
No! I'm not okay with this!
Okay.
No! God damn it, Alphen!
But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Xion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Oh.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Oh.
Thank you, Xion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before.
Oh. Oh.
But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Xion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
For the love of God! Oh my God!
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Oh, do not set me up for a sad ending game. I will destroy everything.
Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only to send down to Renna, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dahna and Renna.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete.
Oh, jeezums.
Everything is in working order.
That's good to know, thank you.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Oh!
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helghan Quill, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Renna's atmosphere without being detected.
Oh!
Wait,
Should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Renna, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
Okay.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helghan Quill go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Alright.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
What do you mean, why? Because we want to.
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable.
But it's happening!
Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Alrighty then. So, I did double check something. I looked at a spoiler-free guide just to see, like, how many, like, dungeons were coming up and everything, and... yeah, Renna's the end of it. Once we go to Renna, it's the final dungeon.
It would appear that our Helghan Quill host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
So, like, that is to say that there are some side quests that we weren't able to get done on Renna. Sorry, Dahna. So, I think that what this means is that I'm not sure when all of these side quests will unlock, but something I did find out was that, weirdly enough, you have to do certain side quests if you want to carry over your skills, your money, your records, your everything. And most of those were those really tough missions that I couldn't do before because I was lower level. And I'm still too at low enough of a level. So what I think I'll do is that I'll see what the enemies are like on Renna, and maybe I'll do some leveling on Renna, like, you know, in the off time here, and then I'll go back and do the side quests in the next episode, because otherwise the next episode would just maybe be the last episode because we're at the end of the game. I didn't know we were at the end of the game yet. Honestly, yeah, it's a bit short for a Tales game, but especially in levels, because normally, like, you get up to level, like, 80, 85 before you get to the end of the game, but not in this game.
You know what that means. Time to go to Renna.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
Oh, fuck. Well, we found it. Luckily, there was a spot for us to land. Damn, it's all just ruins. I wonder what the planet was like before, like, you know, the Helghan Quill. Like, I wonder if the Helghan Quill were, like, always robotic, or if maybe they became that way to serve the Great Spirit. I don't know.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helghan Quill come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Yeah.
Then this must be the hollowing.
Oh, no.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
Oh my god!
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
Because the planet itself started devouring its own astral energy for some reason? Why, though?
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dahna.
Yes, but why, though? If it's sentient and it is astral energy, why would it consume astral energy? Because astral energy is what it is! Why would it consume itself?
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Renna was probably just as vibrant as Dahna is.
Probably.
But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helghan Quill in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
Shit.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dahna, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dahna's going to look like?
Yes, and everyone will die, which is the worst part.
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there.
All right.
Let's take a look.
Indeed. Destroyed remnants. Renna. Man, I thought we were at like the second half of the game and that we were gonna get to like go.
So this is Renna.
Yeah.
This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dahna suffer the same fate. Ever.
No, this looks like a teleporter to bring us back. Yeah. What was this thing here?
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
Death.
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
No!
No, I'll pass.
Nah.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Lol?
That's not what he was suggesting!
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something.
Okay, that was funny. Challenge of a lifetime.
So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renna's Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I don't know.
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
we might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renna's Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up.
Bridging the divides.
Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
Okay.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Dahnans started pressing their own.
Renans, Dahnans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different as someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
Yeah.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
there will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Before we end this episode, I'm gonna go in just to see what this place is like a little bit. Because we're definitely right about time for this episode.
Looks like we warped into that pit of astral energy.
Retirement plans?
I wonder what Helghan Quill's civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Renna is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
God, I love you, Dodo.
We didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Keeping up with the Helghan Quill.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No, I mean... Wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helghan Quill?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helghan Quill?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess.
But
still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
get him, Hootle!
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle.
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell?
Keep going, Hootle.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zoogles. Like, a whole
Yeah.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dahna, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zoogles originally used to be living creatures native to Dahna and Renna, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zoogles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zoogles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
Yeah.
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zoogles aren't so different after all.
Maybe not. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh! Shit!
Helghan Quill!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use.
We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
Yep. Let's do it. Level 53!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Woo! That certainly worked.
I thought you were going to wreck the place. I'm not nearly finished yet. Then I'll provide assistance however I can.
Oh my god!
No, I mean, you're even better than ever. I've never seen Keon actually look flustered.
You're mine! No escape! I'll face you! You're mine! Elusive deity! Rising Wyvern! I'm not done!
Illuminate the depths! Only glitter! A chain between heaven and earth.
Woo!
In an instant! Impact block!
Got him!
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Dahnan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
Yeah, sadly.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
Probably.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
Helghan Quill's legacy.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helghan Quill, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Probably.
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for?
Probably the latter. Helghan.
We haven't seen anyone here except Helghan Quill. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Renna. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In Tragedy's Aftermath, hope is all we have.
Yeah. Onward to the center.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helghan Quill's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. Oh, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Dahnan, do you think have ever seen this?
Probably none.
Regarding the past 3 centuries, at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first.
Yeah.
Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far?
Yeah.
There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
Both.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
Ooh, hello, enemies. Oh, wow, yeah, they're,
Don't tell me! Lion in a body! I owe you one.
I'm sorry.
You do the same for me.
That helps.
oh boy!
I shall ensure you survive this.
Rise and shine! Illuminate the dark!
Throbbing in pain.
None shall escape my judgment! A wailing banshee of lightning!
Down on the ground!
Radiant light!
As impressive as always.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And bubble to me! Tempting! Incineration wave! Catapult! Through escape! Tempting! Elusive deity! Fly away!
Lightning condemned!
You're mine!
Chain between heaven and earth! Magic is
Rising Wyvern!
burning spear! Pierce evil!
Rising Phoenix!
Air thrust! Breathe lancer!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's
Ooh.
the case.
Let's see. Oh, there's a new area already. Oh, and another scene. Cool.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helghan Quill. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Dahnans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Dahnans, but it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled.
Not exactly. They were definitely influenced to do that, but still.
Now, it turns out they themselves were once Dahnans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
Oh, adorable.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator.
Oh.
That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
Okay. Ah, looks like these enemies do come back, even if it's just these wolf ones.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I think what I'll do now is I'll do a little bit of leveling. You know, maybe just get up to like level 50 and then attempt one of the side quests that we couldn't do before. So, with that, I shall say thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. This episode may or may not have gone on longer than I anticipated. I'm not honestly sure after all the editing and everything. But at the very least, I have to say that I very much enjoyed this episode. I'm thankful that you guys are still here with me. I definitely have some thoughts on the fact that the game is... This game is a lot shorter than most Tales games. I mean, like, you know, like not like... I don't know, like, every other Tales game I've ever played has been so much, like, longer, just main story-wise, than this one has. I mean, like, even some of the shorter Tales games, I mean, like, I have never known a Tales game... Oh, damn. Ah, I still love that one. That one's cool. But I have never known a Tales game to be, like... The best way to put it is, I've never known a Tales game to be, like, let me check. How many hours are we in here? We're at about 45 hours. We're, well, about 47 hours. That's a good length, but I remember getting to, like, the 30-hour mark at the halfway point of most Tales games. And then it was almost another 30 hours after that. Like, you know, like, there was a lot more to it than that. So I guess I'm a little disappointed at the length of this, the fact that, like, yeah, there's a bunch of really cool side quests that we're gonna do in the next episode and everything, but I mean, like, I'm a little disappointed by, like, a lot of things. This definitely isn't a bad Tales game, but it feels, again, like they put more into the presentation of the game than they put into its story or, like, its characters. Because the characters are fine, but I mean, like, I thought, like, hey, we have a part 2, a chance for the characters to grow. There isn't that. There is no part 2. There is just the second part of the game, which was a lot shorter than the first. It feels like, you know, like, I get, like, I like the reveal that, like, you know, Renna wasn't actually a planet, but I mean, like, it's like, we went to all 5 nations, and now we're just instantly jumping into, like, you know, like, Lenegis and then the end of the game. It feels very rushed, because, I'm sorry, like, after Ganatheros, I thought, great, we're at the halfway point. There's only 2 dungeons after that. There's really only, oh, no, 3. There's 3 dungeons after that, because there's the Wedge, then there is the, then there was, like, Lenegis, and now there's Renna. That's a really short second half of the game. And, like, you know, it's not even a second half, it's more like a quarter. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too long harping on it because, you know, I did that plenty before. But, you know, I just want you guys to understand where I'm coming from with this, and that, you know, it feels like they could have done a lot more with this game, but they decided to focus on visuals and presentation rather than the story. And I feel like the story suffers a lot because of that, because the game is fun to play, but I mean, like, you're telling me that endgame level is 50? Endgame level is 50? And that I have to, I'm not kidding you, I did look this up, you have to do side quests that are like in the 60s range just to be able to carry over stuff into the next game, which you've never really had to do before. Like, granted, like in the old games, it was like, oh, when you complete the game, you get a certain amount of points to spend and you could choose what you wanted to carry over. But I mean, and like, I don't dislike the idea of doing side quests in your original playthrough, like, you know, maybe post-game or before the end of it, like I'm gonna do. But I don't know. It feels like they thought there'd be a lot of replayability here, but there really isn't. There really isn't much replayability, because if I can do all the side quests in a single playthrough, I don't know what need I would have to play it again. Especially because the story is so short and the characters are not as memorable. So, yeah, like, the characters aren't bad, but I mean, like, you know, I definitely expected a lot better from, you know, the Tales series. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad, but it's nowhere near as great as the last few titles they released. I mean, like, I wasn't a big fan of Tales of Zestiria, but at least I can say it had a compelling story, it was interesting, it took me a while to get through, and there was a lot of really good exploration. Tales of Berseria had the same thing, but I thought its story was much better and a lot more focused, and I liked that. This, it felt like they put more of an emphasis on being semi-open world and presenting a lot, rather than focusing on the story, which is a way to do it, but I feel like they missed out on a lot of good opportunities, like I've mentioned before. But either way, like I said, next time, we're actually going to move on to doing those side quests that I mentioned. I'm going to do some leveling in the interim, and we're going to enjoy that. So, thanks again! And, as always, if you are enjoying this game, despite the fact that it's not quite as good as what I thought, I'm still enjoying it, and if you're enjoying it as much or even more than I am, as always, please like, comment, subscribe if you are not already, ring that bell for all them notifications and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers.